In the year 117 CE, the Roman Empire stretched from the deserts of North Africa to the misty hills of northern Britain. Rome's legions had conquered most of the known world, but there were still places where Roman power ended, where the eagles of Rome had never flown. One of those places was Caledonia, the wild lands beyond Hadrian's Wall, what we now call Scotland. The Ninth Legion, the Legio IX Hispana, was one of Rome's oldest and most distinguished units. They had fought in Spain, in Gaul, in the German forests. They had marched with Caesar, had helped conquer Britain decades earlier. Their eagle standard, the Aquila, was their soul, their pride, the sacred symbol that represented everything the legion stood for. Every legion had an Aquila, a golden eagle mounted on a pole and carried into battle by a specially chosen soldier called an aquilifer. This wasn't just a flag or a banner. Romans believed the eagle held the spirit of the legion itself. To lose the eagle in battle was the ultimate disgrace, a shame so profound that legions were sometimes disbanded entirely if their eagle was captured. The aquilifer who carried the eagle was selected for courage, strength, and absolute loyalty. He wore a lion's skin over his helmet and armor, making him instantly recognizable on the battlefield. In combat, he couldn't fight with weapons, because both hands were needed to hold the heavy standard. He was a target, obvious and vulnerable, and enemy forces always tried to kill the aquilifer and capture the eagle. Around 117 CE, something happened to the Ninth Legion. The historical record becomes murky here, contradictory and incomplete. What we know is that the Ninth Legion, or at least part of it, marched north from their fortress at Ebaricum, modern-day York. They crossed into Caledonian territory, beyond the frontier, into lands controlled by fierce tribes who had never submitted to Rome. And then the Ninth Legion disappeared. Not just defeated, not just scattered, they vanished. 5,000 men, perhaps more, marched into the north and never came back. No mass graves have been found. No battle site has been conclusively identified. The legion simply ceased to exist in the historical record. Among those missing men was the aquilifer, the eagle bearer. We don't know his name. Ancient sources don't record it. But later, Roman writers and medieval legends gave him a name, Aquila, which means eagle in Latin. It's probably not his real name, just a title that stuck, but it's what history remembers him by. The stories say that when the Ninth Legion was ambushed in the Caledonian highlands, when the battle turned into a massacre, Aquila made a choice. The legion was being destroyed, cut down by tribesmen who knew the terrain, who fought from the mist and the forests. Roman discipline was breaking. Men were running, dying, scattered across the hills. Aquila could have fled. He could have abandoned the eagle, thrown it aside, and tried to escape with his life. Many soldiers did exactly that, trying to fight their way back to Roman territory. But Aquila was the eagle bearer. His entire purpose, his sacred duty, was to protect the standard, to keep it from enemy hands no matter what. According to the legends, Aquila ran, not toward safety, but deeper into Caledonia. He carried the eagle north, away from the battlefield, away from the pursuing tribesmen. He knew he couldn't fight them, couldn't defeat them. His only weapon was speed and the hope that he could hide the eagle somewhere the Caledonians would never find it. The chase went on for days, maybe weeks. Aquila moved through forests and across moors, wading through rivers, climbing hills. The Caledonians hunted him. They wanted the eagle desperately. Capturing a Roman legion standard was the ultimate trophy, proof of their victory, a symbol they could parade to unite the tribes against Rome. But Aquila stayed ahead of them. He was a legionary, trained to march 30 miles a day in full armor. He knew how to move, how to navigate, how to survive on minimal rations. The Caledonians were on their home ground, but Aquila had motivation that went beyond survival. He was protecting the soul of his legion. Finally, somewhere in the remote highlands, Aquila stopped running. He couldn't go any further. Perhaps he was wounded, perhaps exhausted, perhaps he simply knew he couldn't outrun his pursuers anymore. He found a place, somewhere hidden, somewhere secret, and he buried the eagle. He dug deep into the earth and placed the golden standard in the ground. He covered it with soil and stones, concealing it completely. The eagle of the 9th Legion disappeared into the Scottish earth. Then Aquila either died from his wounds, was killed by the pursuing Caledonians, or perhaps integrated into a local tribe. The stories diverge here. Some say he died protecting the burial site. Others say he lived among the Caledonians as a slave or exile, never revealing where he'd hidden the eagle, taking the secret to his grave. The truth is, we don't know. We don't know if there even was an Aquila, or if the story grew from fragments and speculation from the Roman need to explain what happened to the 9th Legion's eagle. No burial site has ever been found. No eagle has been recovered. The golden standard of the 9th Legion remains lost, somewhere in the hills of Scotland, if it exists at all. But the Romans believed it was out there. For years afterward, there were rumors of expeditions sent north to recover it, of soldiers who volunteered to cross into Caledonian territory and search for their legion's lost honor. Some stories say Emperor Hadrian himself ordered searches. Others claim that later emperors sent secret missions into the highlands. None succeeded, or if they did, they never brought the eagle back to Rome. The disappearance of the 9th Legion and its eagle became one of Rome's great mysteries. How could an entire legion simply vanish? Where did they go? What happened in those northern hills? The Romans, who documented everything obsessively, who kept detailed records of every campaign and battle, had no answer. Modern archaeology hasn't solved the mystery either. Theories abound. Maybe the 9th wasn't destroyed in Caledonia at all. Maybe they were transferred to another province and disbanded quietly after heavy losses elsewhere. Maybe they were massacred, but the site simply hasn't been found yet. Maybe the disaster was so complete, so embarrassing, that Rome deliberately erased them from the records. But the legend of Aquila persists. The image of a lone soldier, carrying his legion's most sacred object, running through hostile territory, refusing to let it fall into enemy hands even as everything around him collapsed. It's the kind of story Romans told themselves, the kind of heroism they valued above almost anything else. In Roman culture, individual survival meant nothing compared to protecting the standards. There are stories of soldiers throwing themselves onto enemy spears to defend the eagle, of aquilifers who died holding the standard high even as they were cut down. The eagle was worth more than any individual life, worth more than 100 individual lives. If Aquila existed, if he really did carry that eagle into the north and bury it somewhere in the Scottish Highlands, then he fulfilled his duty perfectly. He didn't let the Caledonians capture it. He didn't let Rome's enemies parade it through their villages as proof of Roman defeat. He made sure that even if the legion died, even if every soldier was killed, the eagle would never be a trophy.